Leahy,
Here.
Boston,
Here.
Hutton.
Here.
Leahy,
Yep.
Mendoza,
Here.
Pearsall,
Here.
Tegler. Here. And Perkins.
Number 1. Have a motion for the minutes. Motion by Boston to approve April 7, 2025 meeting minutes and change to motion to change Pearsall making motion to Boston. So there is one correction there. That's it. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Hutton?
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Tegler,
Yes.
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy. Yes.
Motion carried. I have another motion by Boston to approve close the meeting minutes from March 19th and April 7th, 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joyce?
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Abstain.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Tegler,
Yes.
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton.
Yes.
Motion carried. Jason, did you come up with anything you wanted to talk about, or?
I tried.
Okay. Jason said he'd be here in case anybody had any questions in reference to the sewer plant.
Or the boat ramp or anything else that we're working on, just to be here.
All right. And I also did have a request by Kelly Reed that she'd be able to speak early. So if anybody else wants to speak early, if you have other things to do, that's fine as well. But Kelly, go ahead.
Thank you. I do have another meeting, it'd be too short.
That's fine.
So, I've just been made aware that there's been some questions. I'm understanding people are inquiring as to whether Albany Garden Plain actually paid for the bag boards in the park. So I have a copy of the cashier's check here for $3,910, which was what we were told the amount was to pay for the job in the park. So I believe you guys were all here when I brought the check in, so I'm not sure why there's any questioning going on there. Okay, I just wanted to be clear about that, and I think some of these, you know, people can access me and call me. I've told people that before. Some of the things I do want to talk about, though, I believe that it's been mentioned that maybe Albany Garden Plain Youth Association funds should pay for the line up the ball diamond, or the fixing of the fence. And we did that for years. I don't think, you know, sometimes some of you are new and don't realize some of the things that went on. I believe your dad was very involved in a lot of the things that went on early on in that. He actually knocked down the building and helped us with clearing the land and doing all of that. The building itself was built by parents and community members, all worked on it. The village themselves did give us money towards the building, and we in return gave you a really nice building. Dave Luden actually drew up the plans for that. He was a professional. We always get great compliments on it. So over the years, we purchased a water heater. We purchased a number of freezers or refrigerators. They have to be, you know, usually they're used. They have to be replaced every so often. We've replaced the batting cages several times. We've bought a new chalker. We always supply the chalk. Before we left, Teresa and I, when I'm talking to that, Wiley had been working with us for a couple of years, and he was the intent to take it over. That was what was taking place. We didn't think it was fair. At that point, the building had been 10 plus years old, so we went ahead and paid for the new plumbing. I have a copy of that check here also. That was $1,358.79. that was paid on May 18th, of 23 to Peterson Plumbing, and they replaced all the plumbing in the building before Teresa and I turned it over. Okay. Through the years, we paid for everything as far as cleaning supplies, maintenance supplies, painting, having the building sprayed. We didn't pay much for fence repairs, our husbands did it. Things like that. When we had to replace a faucet or a leaky toilet, our husbands did it. We took care of those things. We don't have those people anymore like Wayne Anglesey and Jack Holcomb. They painted a lot of things on that building. They took care of a lot of things for us, and they were always willing to do so. Wayne was wonderful in the early years, doing the fielding and putting a warning track out there, which the little guys always thought was great. We always paid for the RV antifreeze that was put in the fall when we would winterize the building, and that was usually, for years done by Brian Holcomb. It was done by our husbands. It was, Steve Dyson roofed the building for us when we did it. We brought in the shingles and all of that, and he took care of that, so. And I think it's just important to note that throughout the years, we spent many nights at scheduling meetings. We drove to different towns and had to do so. We went to Sam's Club at least once a week to supply that concession stand. Eagle River Liquors had to be hit at least once or twice a week to replace the pop and the Gatorades. Those things were done. Every night for a long time I was stopping, here and there at Hy-Vee to grab buns, whatever we needed for the night for the games that were going on. Nobody was ever compensated for gas, mileage, nothing like that. We never paid anybody to prep that field and work those fields. Our children did that. And I hope we pass that on to them. Delaney and Allie both volunteer right now at the high school and spend a lot of time teaching and doing those things up there with the girls with volleyball, basketball, and softball. I just think at this point, before you ask us, yes, we do have some funds left, but we will make the decision as the bag boards when we turn that over, and it will be used for the town of Albany and for something that we see fit. When we turned that over to Wiley, he was given $3,000. That $3,000 included $700 of sign-up fees that he had not established his account yet. That money came in to Albany Garden Play, and we in turn gave that back to him. We also gave him $2,300 to start up for that season. Now, when we get in sign-up fees, when we always ran it, those sign-up fees were to cover uniforms that should have been t-shirts, socks, and hats. We always did extra special things for the pony kids if they got to that. Obviously, we hadn't had ponies for quite some time, unfortunately, but it paid for insurance for 4 months on the field. And it would pay for us to make that huge whopping trip to Sam's and get all the startup product that we needed to run that concession. Not to mention the fact that for how many years we were up there. Allie was 3 months old getting passed around on the bleachers. We were there every night running those concessions. So I think to question whether we're committed or what we've done, well, I certainly don't appreciate it after all these years.
Yeah.
Not to mention what we did for MASH and what we did for Miss Flame when we worked those things. Profits from the concession stand should always be used to pay the umpire fees. That's what we did. And as I said, we never paid for prep field work. Jack prepped the field, Ashton prepped the field, Autumn prepped the field. Jack would go do it. If something broke down, Nate would give him one of his own mowers to go over there and do that field. Jack and Delaney both worked for the village, so those girls all did what they did, and for years they also would have to go in there and umpire when they did not want to. But sometimes we didn't have anybody else to do it. And it was a good lesson learned for them. So on that note, I'm happy to give you the copy of the cashier's check if you need it, just because you need a number or a record. I can tell you or show you a copy of the check for Peterson Plumbing, if you'd like to see that. I also have a debit form for 523, where we pulled the $3,000 out of the account. Okay, I can't answer on the other side of that. I'm not on that account, and I didn't have anything to do with that. I don't have any contacts left. I shouldn't say I don't have any contacts left in Fulton, but the people that Teresa and I worked with for years in Fulton all stepped off the board back in '23 also. So I'm not really clear on what took place these last couple of years. And I'm not, my understanding last year was that it was completely turned over to Fulton. And that's a shame.
It is,
But
it truly is.
it's also very unfortunate because we don't have the people and the parents that are stepping up and want to help and do what this community needs to make those kids get outside and play, get some fresh air. So, does anybody have any more questions for me?
If those are just copies, you can give them to us, we'll make them part of the record.
Okay. This is just a copy of the copy.
Yeah, yeah, don't give us
So I'm
anything
gonna keep
original.
that one, but I will give you those. Okay? All right. All right.
Appreciate it.
If you have any more questions? or-
Clarifying some things. It's
Absolutely.
unfortunate you need to do that, but I appreciate it.
You know what, I don't want there to be any secrets, and I would love to see it be returned to what it once was.
I agree. I agree.
Um,
And this town knows both you and Teresa, a huge thank you.
And that's not why I'm here. It's
I
just-
know that.
I know.
I know that.
I know. But, I just feel that at this point right now, other inquiries need to be made as to where the rest of the funds possibly are at that point. Because they didn't play with a full 10 teams, they didn't play, and so they should have had more than enough money to complete
Left over.
seasons.
Thank you
Alright.
much. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly.
Have a good night.
You
You
too.
too. Anybody else want to take this opportunity to speak now, or you can wait till the end of the meeting, I'll give another opportunity. If not, we'll go ahead with the meeting. Maintenance, Mike?
Not a whole lot going on. Our mower arrived today, our new one that we just purchased. I got an invoice for it on delivery. I called Suzie, see if he could pick up a check today while he was in town dropping it off. She was unaware of what account that was coming out of, or if that was on this prior budget, or if this is the incoming budget. So we need to make that clear, I guess, so Irv can get paid. I don't.
Yeah, it was out of this budget. The truck was gonna be out of next
Next
year's budget.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll get with her tomorrow.
Okay.
You said parks.
And that's all I had. Anybody have any questions?
We're not gonna let the high schooler on the new mower, right?
No.
You know, I've been here since December.
That it then?
Summer holidays.
No office, no police,
Actually, I do have something if you want me to wait till I talked to Tommy.
either way, yeah, go ahead.
I talked to Tommy today about this, and I think that's why Tanner's here also. So he may want to speak after I. Tommy said that he had stopped and talked to Mr. Mannon, so which Mr. Mannon it was, I have no idea.
Yeah, I
Okay.
spoke with him.
Okay. He said what he thought needed to be done was, we need to have our maintenance put the yellow lines so they're more clear as to where the parking is. And, he also thought that maybe the third sign, the one that's closest to 84 for the post office, could maybe be removed. So they would at least have one spot, because the one spot between that and the two post office signs is what his recommendation was, and he said he had talked to you. He thought you were on board with
I had,
it.
I had a couple other ideas I was gonna run.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so, anyways, I'm Tanner Manning, I'm the owner of Manning Overhead Doors, lived Albany my whole life. We wanted to bring our business to Albany, this is where we're at, you know. We did move our warehouse to Fulton, so all of our doors are going to Fulton. This is gonna be our operating office and showroom. So this is gonna be an open showroom for the public to come in, see fully functional garage doors and stuff, all kinds of samples. With that being said, a couple complaints about the parking on there. Right on 84, so just for instance, that is our office, it's commercial property. So we have me and my wife, there's 2 vehicles. We have our secretary, Shauna, there's a 3rd vehicle. There's 2 tenants that live upstairs, they each have a vehicle, so there's 2 more vehicles. The downstairs is technically 2 storefronts, so when that other storefront is ready for another business to come into Albany, they will need parking. Right around the corner, we utilize that side facing the bank. That's already done on the inside, and we welcome anybody to stop in and take a look. We have big plans to get the whole outside redone and make that building look good again, right next to the post office, the bank, you know, presentable. But with the parking, we use those side doors a lot. And I had noticed after some complaints, the sidewalk that goes from the post office to the street is painted yellow with a big barrier in the street for no parking. I have one identical commercial lot that's not painted. So I had another idea, which I did like the first idea, but this other idea I thought maybe was even better. So this is a one-way. If we can't park on the side of our business, where the officer said he didn't even want us to have to park on the other side and cross the road. School's out, our kids are gonna be there every single day. We both work there. We don't like unloading our kids off on 84. I don't like it, you know, so. But with this being a one-way, I know the post office drop box is on the other side of the street where we have been parking vehicles and people have to go and back up. So with this being a one-way, what are your thoughts on slanted parking? It's a one-way, and put no parking on the other side of the road. Not only that, I don't know what the measurements or requirements are, but one, it would add parking space. I don't know, I just roughly was like, okay, well, the left side of my sidewalk, maybe you could fit 3 parking spots there slanted, and 1 or 2 on this side. You know, I just, if we can't come up with a solution, I just don't see how that can be a 10-minute reserved parking in front of my sidewalk that should be painted yellow as a commercially zoned property as the post office. So we're just looking at a solution as far as parking goes, because hopefully we're here for the long term, you know. So, and our business, you know, is growth is insane.
Good.
We're growing super fast, and we just brought 2 full-time employees, and we're hoping to add another 1 or 2 to the list by the end of the year. And another truck on the road too, so. With that being said, I'm open to anything, you know. I don't wanna have to park all of our vehicles across the road where there are no signs and completely block any parking for the public library. We also have another business, if you had seen just today, from the end of the road where our business is all the way down to the dog grooming, sorry.
You're fine.
The dog grooming company is full, there's 5 vehicles, so we have their customers, when they're busy, parking up this way too. So definitely need to find a solution. Make it, you know, I can't make everybody happy, but,
Right.
you know.
I like the angled parking idea. I think if they
That's great.
even got rid and moved that curb up closer to the sidewalk, right? Because there's 5 or 6 feet of just earth right there,
Potentially could, yeah.
and you could easily have them.
Is there to tell them that you're removing all that black fence?
The black fence is being removed too, around there. That's gonna be ripped out once we get time. We are super busy, so.
No, I'd be concerned too if it was me. I would want parking in front of my business, you know, if at all possible. So,
Well, it's, you know, the sign says 10-minute parking
Right.
from 8 to 5. So I get there, I've had a couple people, one, probably the gentleman that made the first complaint, asked me what time it was 7:51. I'm not breaking any violation there. So, but the post office is only open from 9 to 2.
Right.
So why we have 10-minute parking from 8 to 5 is another thing. And I'm not asking for man and overhead door parking, I'm just asking to make it all public parking. You know, they walk further to go to the grocery store than if they were to park, say, on the other side of the driveway even, you know. You can make that whole side, granted, in front of the residential house is not commercial, but, you know, you could potentially just do slanted parking the whole way down too.
I don't know who we have to talk to.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't know, it's
So-
not
so
84,
let me
it's
get
hard
this
to
due
read.
early this week, and, we can go kind of maybe paint up the road and see what it would look like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the DOT is as far as width of what parking spaces have to be. Obviously, we do have the two sidewalks, the post office and our sidewalk that we utilize a lot. That if we do go to slanted, if we could leave those open for my customers, and or if the post office is full and they're parking down here, they have a safe place to get on too. As well as my kids, they ride scooters and
Oh, yeah.
bikes and everything else.
Right. Yeah, I'll, if you guys are all right with that, I can get with you next week and we can, maybe come up with a better game plan. Have
I'm-
eyes on site.
I'm all ears.
And Tommy, you want to be involved too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Awesome.
All right, well then we'll just wait and see what happens next week.
Yeah, just, you got my number, get a hold of me. We'll set something up, I'm usually in the office by 7 every day.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So there's no action we're gonna take now on this.
What's on the agenda?
What is it? Let's take action.
I don't know.
Spaces in their post office.
I mean, I guess we could, yeah, let's just wait and see.
We have to
And say we could take
have
one
a
of
plan.
Right.
I don't think anybody's gonna say no.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's just me.
The road's wide enough.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're not gonna take any action.
That's okay. If I'll just wait to meet with you. And just to clarify, as far as any other future complaints, from where my truck is parked, from that last sign back, I did get permission from the town officer to park there, up to the first sign. That way we had at least one spot there.
One of the complaints that I've had is when you have both trucks there and they're coming like north and
Yep.
then they turn in and your truck is right there and they're like, you know, cause it's, but it's supposed
I
to be yellow.
did
It's
tell him,
supposed to be yellow.
it was in yellow, and
Yeah.
the reason I told the officer, I said, look, I know I am parked in yellow, but I'm just trying to back up to give them more room. We don't always have two vehicles there.
Right.
I'm not there 8 hours a day,
No,
most
I know
days.
that.
But, I said, yeah, I backed up just to maybe keep the people off my back a little bit. I said, I'll just take the heat if the cop stops and talks to me, you know?
Right.
So I said, we'll just wait and figure it out. But yes, I do get that 100%. You come off there, boom, there we are.
You're not-
But that's, the other part is, you can't hardly see where one yellow line starts and the other one
I know,
stops.
so we'll have that taken care of too.
No problem.
Anything else? If not, we'll move on. Anything else? Nothing on police then?
No, I'm not.
Under me, and we talked about at the last meeting, we're gonna have a special meeting, next week. I will put that, I will call the meeting. That will, be only for, passing the budget and, swearing in the new.
Will we approve these minutes that night?
We can approve these minutes,
Yes.
swear in, approve these minutes,
Budget?
budget, and then swear in the new people, and then we'll adjourn. So, if there's no questions on that, I will post that tomorrow.
At 6 o'clock.
Yeah, at 6 o'clock.
Do we come at 5:30 for the
The
budget?
budget hearing, yeah. The budget officer technically is the only one that has to be here.
Okay.
It's always been everybody games. No building permits, no attorney, clerk.
I have the resignation here of my deputy clerk, Susie Griffiths, the board.
All right, that's notarized.
That's all I have.
Budget officer?
Yeah. I haven't heard anything from anyone regarding 25-26 budget. Any complaints or anything from anyone, so what we're voting on, I can make some slight changes next Wednesday before 6 o'clock, but at that time, it's done.
We met with you, so.
You did, yeah,
The copy for the public is sitting on the
It's been
counter
sitting.
out front there.
and everybody had one email to them. I know some people's emails aren't working or something.
Mine wasn't. Mine is. We talked to them, our last
Sorry.
time, our budget.
All right, I have a motion here by Boston to, motion by Boston to approve the treasurer's report and financial comparison report for March 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Leahy?
Hutton, excuse me,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Tegler,
Yes.
Boston.
Yes.
Motion carried. I have another motion by Boston to approve accounts payable for 3/7, 3/14, 3/21, and 3/28, and then payroll for 3/7 and 3/21, and timesheets for 2/17 to 3/2 and 3/3 to 3/16. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mendoza?
Boston,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Leahy,
Yes.
Mendoza,
Yes.
Pearsall,
Yes.
Tegler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Last thing I have is that I will be, as of next Wednesday, or actually probably this evening, but I will not be the IEMA ESDA dosimetry control officer, anything to do with that. This office really needs to keep that because it pays for almost half of our printer costs that we use to print bills and everything else that we send out. Pays for almost half of that, pays for every one of those phones that we have in that cabinet.
Pays for
To
projector.
to the tune of 230 some bucks a month, so if that's not taken on by somebody, that's a lot of money this town's gonna lose.
Which one was it?
As
Got grants.
And the dosimetry control officer, I'll help whoever, I'll do one up for whoever the next person is, and I'll help them, you know. I didn't get that luxury, but, the dosimeters have been done for this year, the annual drift check, that's been done. In July, Susie knows this, we'll have to send them invoices for the phone and the printer charges, and anything we bought for the office that can be used for the ESDA. So that all has to get done to get reimbursed. So, now I've said it out loud and everybody knows. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Floyd. Anything additional on police, Teresa?
I just wanted to remind you of the golf cart roundup from 9 to 1 on Saturday. It's downstairs.
Out back here?
Yep. Proof of insurance and your fee, $35, just like always. Any questions, somebody can call me if they need to.
What if Tommy's not back?
I told,
We'll get it
we'll
taken
talk.
care of.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get it taken
If
care of.
Tommy can't help, I told her I'll help her.
Okay.
After I previously told her I was done. So, I'll help.
Teresa,
Yes,
I'll let Susie know you'll need start at once too.
I have a list for her. I was gonna give it to her tonight.
Oh, that's Tommy.
Thank you.
Tommy's gone right now?
Yes, COVID.
Oh, gotcha.
That's it. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Aaron?
I have nothing to present.
Carrie?
We talked about getting that truck Could we, could we say yes tonight and then purchase it in May or not?
I'll let somebody else do that, but I don't wanna.
What truck are you talking about?
The one we talked about at the last meeting.
The truck,
we had,
$1,000 truck?
something, yeah, we had, he put in enough money for it to be arranged.
For this budget year or next
No,
budget?
next budget.
Yeah.
So then,
There's nothing that would stop us from doing that, to voting to do it, but I don't know that I don't know if my heart's truly in to buying this one for 12 grand or whatever it was. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna sit here as though, until the new board takes over. In my opinion, I think we ought to try to get a better truck for more money, in my opinion.
well, I've been looking too, so I feel like
this
there's,
is what I.
Only my opinion.
I did a little bit more research.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
I thought you were done.
You said you had nothing else to do.
He
I
spent
did this
hours
on my
and
own time.
hours on that.
No, I mean talking tonight.
So when you're talking more money, Floyd, how much more are you talking?
Well, again, there's 10 in streets, water, sewer, and electric. 10,000 in there for a vehicle. In the past, they've taken money out of garbage. I don't know that that's the way it was supposed to be, but according to our old auditor, that was okay to do. I don't know how to do that, but there's a lot of money in garbage. So if you can get another 10 or 15 out of there, then you've got 55, 60 grand to spend on a truck.
Well, they haul garbage cans, so we
Well,
ought to be able to use
that was
it.
my understanding, as long as you, when somebody leaves a garbage can, as long as you use that truck, you can use some of those funds.
Yeah,
I just don't know how it's done. I'm not an accountant.
Well, yeah, but we don't.
You don't need all that.
I mean, that is the best one that I found, it, looking at probably 30 different trucks.
Yeah, that's a lot better deal than that first one.
Yeah.
So you have something
Well, it isn't
different there?
Yeah, which is a whole lot better of a deal than the other one, in my opinion. That's a 3/4 ton and it's got work by, it's got boxes on it and
I
everything.
found one in Darlington. I don't know.
Darlington.
Yeah,
It's a Tyler, right?
yeah, it's only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Oh, is that where they have a speedway? Where's that? I've
Yeah.
heard of Darlington
Nah,
Speedway.
no. But,
Was that stupid?
so, yeah,
Oh,
no, but I just don't think that we need to jump on that first one. I think,
he hasn't. This is 5, 6, 7 hours of looking shit up. We didn't just print out the first 3 he did.
no, I thought we were talking about the one he showed us last time.
He's looked more since then.
That one that Floyd's got.
That one is
in
the
my
best
opinion,
one,
that's- if you're
and
gonna do a truck, that's what you should
probably
do.
200
Where's it at?
mile, it's in
Highland Park, I think it said. Yeah.
Suburb of Chicago.
So that's the fleet vehicle we were talking about?
And it looks like it has most of the
It has
equipment
everything.
on there that you could use.
And the best thing about it is, they had a big old fleet, like 20 fleet trucks come up from Florida, so that hasn't seen any
Oh,
salt.
no salt?
No salt, nothing, it got a ride,
Only driven to church on Sunday. No, I.
well, I actually called and talked to
No,
the
I
guy,
believe you,
and,
Mike. It looks like it hasn't seen salt, so. You know, yeah, that's what you're wanting.
Perfect, thank you.
It's a one owner, clean title, hasn't been in any accidents. It's the best one that I found. I can't believe I found it, to be honest with you.
Can you do a Carfax on that or not?
Yeah, I'm sure, I think on that third
You got one?
paper,
I wanted to see how many miles the one I found has. Same year. Mine's a GMC. Same. Mine's a little cheaper.
Is it a 3/4 ton?
2,500 HB.
HD.
So
Yep.
the answer is yes. But the miles,
15.
you got less miles on this one. More money, less miles.
Well, that's why, right there.
Yep.
And it's tax exempt, they said they'd do that.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah. Well, if you went to like some
Just
small fly by
paying for
night,
that.
they weren't.
Making it way more but we're done with it? Okay.
all these trucks that I looked at, that I called about, do not come with a warranty. They're
Mhm.
sold as is.
I understand. Yeah.
The minute it drives off the lot.
Well, I'm sure there'll be like a 30, it's gotta be a 30-day or something.
It's like gap
you know.
insurance.
If I'm driving it back from Highland Park and it doesn't make it back, we're.
Who you gonna call?
Did you want a four-wheel drive truck?
Honestly, we're gonna pay another 7 to 10 grand to get
Okay.
a four by four.
Just
We
checking.
already- We already have 3 trucks
What's that?
that are 4x4.
Okay,
Um,
just checking.
Is this gonna be plowed snow?
No, it will not be it'll be strictly a utility truck for water, sewer, locating, water main breaks, everything can get stored
In
in
those
that,
boxes, yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah.
So we're not loading up, throwing everything in the back of trucks in the last minute and all that.
Well, you have it on there, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can. If you're wanting something to be done tonight, and you want to talk me into it, talk me into that.
Well, the thing is,
But,
do you have the money in this budget to do this? You have 15,000 in that, so,
yeah, there's money in there. It's gonna be coming, it's gonna be shared. I guess you hand it to me afterwards and I'll put the numbers
what's
on
the
it.
total? With taxes.
Don't, whatever. At this point, it's useless, so don't bother.
15
But yeah, I was starting to get frustrated looking up these trucks. I couldn't find anything that was worth even mentioning, to be honest with you.
Well, when you don't want a truck, they're all over the place.
Share 1550. Or just 15. It's cutting it kind of close.
While we have a dead moment, is this trucking company paying for these poles?
What are you talking about?
The poles that got pulled down?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I was like, what are you
That's all right.
talking about?
That's all right.
What
I was
happened?
wondering if we have some other ones pulled down.
Chief made a report and he
Got all their information and
yeah, he
all
took
that
care of all
stuff.
that stuff.
That's
so
pretty brief, I don't know if I did it all.
I got the itemized list
Just the
from
meat
Joe
and
Carroll,
potatoes.
what they did and everything.
Do you
So
have
their time that we made on that?
Yeah.
You have a cost on that?
Not yet.
No, okay.
Not yet.
Just say that.
Just the maintenance.
who it's
These
coming
guys
for,
are time
who
too.
it's
This
for?
is.
Yeah, it's
his
all
only
your
copy.
guys'
You
time,
want to
too.
do it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll have to make a copy.
This is who's selling it, go ahead. Motor Source Incorporated? They're the
Yeah.
sellers?
Yeah, I believe so, that's what he sent me for the purchase agreement.
All right, we'll make a copy of this afterwards, but we'll include this along with the motion. So, I have a motion, but are we all ready? Any other discussion? I have a motion by Leahy to purchase maintenance truck not to exceed 15.5. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tagler.
That would kind of include tiling too.
I don't know.
Boston?
Are you talking about the tax title license?
Well, title.
That would
Won't
be
be taxed.
separate, I guess, because it'll be a municipality, so he said instead of him license doing all that up there, it would save us like $400 or $500.
We should be able to transfer the plates on them other ones if
Right,
they're
he
still
said
active.
for like $5, or $5 transfer or something, so.
Okay. Just wanted to- Boston?
Yes.
Hutton?
yes.
Leahy?
Yes.
Mendoza?
Yes.
Pearsall?
Yes.
Tagler?
Yes.
I don't know if I ever saw the other side of that truck.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
But if you do get up there and it's not what you want, just
Yeah, you're not locked
Right,
out.
right, yeah, definitely, definitely.
Are they holding it for you to
Yeah,
reply?
I actually talked to him at like 1:30 this afternoon. I talked to him again.
I know that'd be my luck.
Well, I told him, I was like,
If
we have
it's
a board
so-
meeting tonight, I'll have an answer for you tomorrow. So, I don't think they're flying
maybe he's
off.
watching.
Yeah, possibly.
That it? Carrie, anything else?
I have a question. Just out of curiosity, coming from Florida, does it say anything about flood?
No, it did not.
It might be something to look into in all the
Make sure it's
things that happen down there.
Okay.
Make sure it's got a clean title.
I don't know if it's on Carfax or not. Did they have to list that?
On here. Now, it came with like 25 pages, I only printed out 3. It is a clean title, 0 accidents recorded, and 1 previous owner. So, I can do a little bit more research on it tomorrow morning, I guess.
Just a thought.
You know,
If it had flood damage, it wouldn't be clean. Yeah, so it should be good.
Maybe a salvage title, wouldn't it?
Salvage or rebuild.
Could make it though.
Come alligators in.
All right, we'll move on. Cemeteries, Pam,
Nothing,
and ordinance, Joyce.
nothing.
All right, how about old business?
The cemetery got cleaned.
Thank you
Welcome.
very much. Apologize for not helping, but my,
All right.
I had some excuse, I don't remember what it was. Oh, I didn't want to, that's right.
Your grandson was there.
I had some excuse.
Dave is gonna make new, wreath holders. He said,
Okay.
for those wreaths, cause he said those get bent up and they're too light and they will fall over. So he said he was gonna start making new ones. But I think they went up and picked all those up.
Yep.
How about new business? Barring none, any visitors want to speak? Terry, Kelly, excuse me, has already spoke. Tanner, anything else? Robert? If not, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I don't know, that 6 looks like something that 12-year-old girl would have written. I
That's
don't
all
know why it
right.
looks
It's
like
still better than,
that's the way it came out.
have a motion by Boston to adjourn meeting at 6:42. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Easy, I will say, I forgot to say that,
Hey, Mike.
I do have 5 employees that
Second one?
their tax money does hurt.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what,
So we only,
I'm like looking at it, looking
will
at
you
it.
need that copy?
So it's actually my brother.
That
We can go
bill?
make a copy.
He's the one that
Okay, keep going over. I'll see you.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know who brought it.
Yeah.
We just needed something with the name of
I
the
didn't think
company.
that would be it.
I did not either, I don't know.
Well, because it's still.
Thanks, Jason.
I did